Warriors, rise. Announcement on inflation numbers come out today. And like I've been saying, it's going to be a wild ride, Warriors. But I'm going to share with you facts, figures, numbers, logic, and where I think they're taking us. Now, the great thing about this, just like the elites, they say don't let a good crisis go to waste. There's going to be two types of people in the next 10 years. There's going to be warriors and there's going to be warriors. There's going to be people who shift the timeline for their families and get their family out of poverty and take the wealth back where it deserves to be with the people. And there's going to be people who end up like our grandparents in the Great Depression, who pass the negative subconscious mind programming onto their kids. The question is, which one are you going to be? The things that must exist within the next 24 months. Number one, your tribe is going to determine your vibe. Number two is your education. It's so important that you rewire your brain to this new quantum way of doing finances. And number three is keeping yourself laser focused, not paying attention to the bullshit, because when they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what I think may happen with the announcement with inflation. Not saying I'm going to be right or wrong, but I'm going to tell you both sides of the coin. And I'm going to share with you what I think the big money is doing and why they're doing it, okay? So today you'll learn where the markets could go, right? Where I think it's going to go. Like I say, don't trust a word I say, trust the feeling and vibration it creates in your body and act accordingly. Either way, there's a narrative behind it, right? I'm going to show you what I believe the elites are doing, and I'm going to show you what you can do within your paradigm. Even if you have 10 bucks in your account or $1 million in your account, you can still do the same small micro activities which lead to something big. But if you want to be part of a nice tribe, an amazing tribe with an amazing vibe, access to information like cryptocurrency courses, access to my portfolio, exit strategy, 7 calls per week, and in 2 weeks, 10 times more value when we relaunch the academy for the exact same price. We are helping so many people and the 5 pillars of wealth, and we're launching our business coaching program in there as well. www.3twarrior.com, or click the description down below to join the free Discord. All right, so let's dive into it, Warriors. All right, so let's start with the world. Okay, so now here's the interesting thing, what's happening. Many interesting things that are happening right now. So number one, this is a worldwide thing. So this isn't just happening in America. This just isn't happening in China. This just isn't happening in Russia or Ukraine or Venezuela. We are going through a worldwide, number one, we went through a worldwide pandemic. Think about that. They took us through the world. The World Economic Forum had a test, a preparedness in 2019 for a pandemic. And then all of a sudden by March, we're deep in a pandemic, right? Think about that for just a moment. We all look this way and they lock us in our houses. We're on Zoom calls. Social media goes through the roof. Technology goes through the roof. And the 4 richest people in the world, who are tech companies, become much wealthier. And the wealthier become much more wealthy since 2008, the inception of Bitcoin going into 2009, and the housing crisis, because money's been so cheap. So they've known what's coming, Warriors. So they've been preparing themselves. But there's a lot of news coming out, and it's going to be talking about inflation. It's going to be so expensive for you even to live. And you're going to be forced, because you think you don't have the power. You think you don't have the power to make a decision. You think you have to rely on somebody outside of yourself. So it'll be a forced submission to the system. So World Bank warns of global economic slowdown. Okay. The World Bank on Tuesday said the world is entering a protracted period of feeble growth as elevated inflation, as it cut global growth forecast by 1.2%, points to 2.9% for 2022. It had predicted a growth of 4.1% in January. The bank added that many countries are likely to face a recession, not just America, but let's take a look at what's happening in America. So in 2012, we're at 1.7 inflation. 2020, during the pandemic, 1.4. And all of a sudden, 2021 shot up to 7, and right now we're at 8.3, and we're heading into a big FOMC meeting today where Jerome Powell will talk about inflation. So what's going to happen? Okay, so now all the pressure's on right now. Let's go through this news. So new poll, inflation, most urgent issue over gun violence. Biden's approval rating ties to the lowest ever. So you're going to see a lot of things right now because we know money and politics go hand in hand, right? Money and politics go hand in hand. So we got the midterms coming up. So a lot of the moves being made is going to be for re-election, right? It's not for the good of the people or making sure that you're taken care of. I hope you know the left and right was made by the left and right to get us to pick sides, to get us to fight against each other. I hope you can understand that part. So the person you're fighting against, that was created for you to fight against them. Okay, think about that for just a moment, warriors. So new poll says inflation is the most urgent issue over gun violence. Biden's approval rating will tie to the lowest ever. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen expects inflation to remain high. This was on June 7th. Today is June 10th, right? So they're kind of setting us up for this. Now, I want to dive into this really quickly and talk about what I think might happen today. If it continues above 8.3, that is not going to be favorable for the markets, okay? The markets are going to respond, so get ready for that mentally. If it goes over 8.3 and they run inflation hot and they keep trying to rebalance this market, right? All of a sudden, the market's going to respond unfavorably. So it's going to FUD a bunch of you out. You're going to freak out. You're going to panic. Your parents are going to say blah, blah, blah. You know, everybody's going to be like, the whole market's collapsed. Remember, you still have your fundamental cryptos. You still have your fundamental investments. These are great times to really sit back like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, get a piece of paper out and analyze. Is it a good time to buy in? What we're doing in the Warrior Academy is we're dollar cost averaging in. We're not getting crazy and dumping a bunch of thousands and thousands of dollars in. We're slowly dollar cost averaging in, getting our DCA down, which is dollar cost averaging. We teach all this stuff in the academy. And we calmly and methodically buy into these markets. It's nothing where you have to panic or anything. But remember, the wealthiest investors are made when there's blood in the streets, warriors. So what I would be doing before I go into the next part, if you watch the video, I'm going to be doing more, and we'll fix the audio. I promise you, we're just rapidly expanding right now, and we're getting more equipment. I have a little studio set up in here now where I have a whiteboard because I like to teach on a whiteboard. And I'm going to apologize in advance because I write things out. I have dyslexia, so you're going to see some misspelling words. And if that bothers you, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to have somebody come edit every single, because I get an idea, I pop up and I just record it. So there'll be more videos like that where I just on a whim will pop up and I'll record stuff. Like yesterday, watch the video. I'll attach it here where I go over the old monetary system and the new monetary system, right? Where was I going with that? Inflation, monetary system. Yeah, I can't remember where I was going with that. But anyways, let's dive into this. What are the elites doing right now? Okay. So Goldman Sachs and buys an entire Florida community for $45 million, right? And we keep saying that BlackRock is buying up all these properties. You got BlackRock, you got Blackstone as well. Remember, BlackRock and Blackstone were created. BlackRock was created by two business partners. One broke off into Blackstone. I think it's Blackstone. BlackRock, Blackstone. They are both juggernauts, and they hold a lot of the wealth within the world, right? So BlackRock counteracted because a lot of people were saying BlackRock is buying single-family homes, but we have to really think about this for just a moment. It says we want to make perfectly clear BlackRock is not buying individual houses in the U.S. Okay, a number of large asset managers and private equity firms are actively in the purchasing of single-family residents. So I want you to hear that BlackRock sometimes gets confused with them. As a fiduciary asset manager, we invest in managed capital on behalf of our clients in a vast array of public and private U.S. real estate markets. But buying individual homes is not one of them. But the fiduciary and asset managers that they're helping, okay, they are, okay? So this is really important to understand. But remember, BlackRock helps the Fed's warriors. In Think We Trust, BlackRock is now fourth branch of the government. When the Fed looked for bond buying help in a crisis, it turned to the giant money manager. So remember, warriors, the reason why I bring this up, and I'm just showing this brief clip of this, because warriors, this is all money and politics, right? You're not gonna trick the system. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going decentralized with crypto and I'm gonna trick the system and I'm gonna be outside the system. And it's like, I don't know, man. I've never really bought into that argument because it's like we keep running to a system that was created by the system, right? Like, think about that for just a moment. You're running into decentralization and all of a sudden they have a net on the other end and you're back into centralization. So what I've been doing is I've been really working on myself, and I am the decentralization. I am the greatest of all time, as are you within your paradigm. You have different fingerprint, different DNA. So I have trouble buying into this left, the right, the arguments, that I'm better than you or you're better than me. And if anybody ever tells you they're their savior and they're coming to save you and they have the answer for you, run for the hills. That includes your government, a person, a coach, a mentor. I am not here to help or save anybody. I'm here to help myself. I'm here to help people. Let me rephrase that. I'm here to help people by helping myself. Let me explain this really quickly. So I love and follow the life of Jesus. Absolutely love. Okay, now Jesus was helping himself become a best version of himself. Meditation, breathing. Where did Jesus go for 18 years? Came back, was like, whoa, man. What are you doing? It's good that you go to a church, but get out of the church and help the people. There's all these people that need us out there, and they're just like us, right? And so when people say we're in biblical times, we are. Think about that. Jesus, 3 days before he was crucified, was flipping over the money changers. So we're in a time right now where it's a cycle. It's biblical. It's happened in human history over and over again. This is historical things repeating itself. So here's what I believe is going to happen, okay? So the Department of Homeland Security sent out a bulletin in the next 12 months or 6 months to be aware of terrorist attacks in America, Americans against Americans. So we have very sensitive subjects. I'm not going to give you my opinion, but we have very sensitive. We have Roe versus Wade. We have gun laws. Okay, we have gun laws. We have a lot of really sensitive, very sensitive, and understandably sensitive subjects that could go one way or the other. That could cause massive divide. We have a midterm election coming up. Think about that. That's going to cause massive divide when that next election comes up. So we're one paradigm shift away from taking the power back. But until we understand that there is no left and right, that there is no up and down, there is no sideways, there is no one versus the other, every single person is uniquely made and is allowed to have their own opinion. And you have the decision to remove yourself from a situation so you don't have to be inside of that paradigm, or you don't have to be inside of that circumstance, which is creating your paradigm, which is creating your personal reality, okay? So I hope this message reaches you well. If you're one of those people that's constantly in stress and anxiety about the economy and Biden doing this and Trump coming back and doing that, it's just a person within your paradigm that's playing a character, really. I mean, I don't know. Trump leaving and Biden coming in, it didn't change my activities. Did I favor one over the other? Maybe. I'm not going to share my politics. I pay a lot more taxes right now. Pay a lot more taxes. So what I did is I just flooded more into a charitable organization. So instead of complaining about it, I just got more active around it, right? So the things that I'm doing right now, Warriors, I'm dollar cost averaging into the crypto markets, speculative currencies, supposedly speculative currencies, dollar cost into fundamental cryptocurrencies. I'm definitely focused on my leveraged life insurance, which is really, really important to me. Silver, I keep telling you guys I have silver. This is all in the academy. I give you the 5 pillars, and I'm really focused on scaling my businesses. And that's why I'm talking more about business. What I'm really good at is I'm good at understanding how to help take information, turn it into an online course, and help shorten the timeline to success for people. And I'm able to show other business owners how to do that as well. And that's something you're going to hear more about, because what is my mission and purpose? To free a lot of people from the just over broke that is causing the stress, that's forcing them to overspend because they're out of alignment with who they are, right? And so I believe the top 3 things are going to be crypto education. Crypto education is going to be one of the biggest online courses. I believe number 2 is going to be people who understand social media. Okay, social media and how to take things like TikTok and scale a 7-figure company. Number 3, I think, is going to be from mindfulness. And ironically, I do all 3 for a business. And I'm scaled 1 to 7 figures, and I'm about to scale another 7 figures. And I just want to show you how to do it. That's what I want to do. And it's not really a big secret, as a lot of people are doing it ways that aren't allowing them to make a living. I figured out a way that works for us, which there's 3 steps you need to do. And there's certain parameters you have to have, 4 parameters you have to have in order to make it happen. Because there's a lot of things missing within people's programs. And that's why they're always struggling online. So there's a lot of things coming. I'm just going to keep doing these impromptu videos with the whiteboard and start teaching a little bit more about business. I hope that you'll stay, and I hope that you'll continue to support us. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, is only half the people that watch us are actually subscribed. And so make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button, because if you're subscribed, hit the notification button, you may if you don't, you may miss a very important video that could change your life, because I'm going to be telling you guys everything that I do. Okay. And inside the academy, we're going to be coaching around business as well. We're just working to free as many people as possible. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. All the information you need is down below, and let's have an amazing, amazing Friday. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you guys.